All right, let's talk about the Premier League. Match day 13 this weekend just gone. Which were the 5 highlight results, the 5 big games that were on this Saturday and Sunday? Let's dive in. And we'll start up in the North East where Sunderland took on Bournemouth. And what a match this was. This was a really entertaining one on Saturday afternoon. It looked as though Sunderland's good run maybe was coming to an end. They were 2-0 down within 15 minutes to Bournemouth at the Stadium of Light. But the Black Cats, they fought back. They showed real spirit and determination to eventually get a comeback victory, 3-2 in the end. Lefebvre from the penalty spot after half an hour. Bertrand Traore just after the restart in the second half, equalising. And Brian Robbery with daylight robbery. No, they deserved it, in fairness. They were really good in this one. Bournemouth definitely should have been more clinical, it's fair to say. They could have and should have got something out of this, but they didn't take their chances, and Sunderland did, of course. And in the end, Bournemouth down to 10 men right at the end. Lewis Cook with a red card in the 96th minute. Sunderland are still flying near the top of the division. I'm telling you, they might get Europe. They might well do it. It's so tight in the Premier League right now, and I can't wait to see what happens next with them. They have been a real revelation this season in the Premier League, and I want to see how good they can do. But from the North East to the North West, Everton taking on Newcastle United in one of the late kickoffs on Saturday night. Now, Everton have been pretty good at home, it's fair to say. Newcastle have been pretty terrible away from home, it's also fair to say. So you'd think this would be a slam dunk home win, but fun fact, no. 4-1 victory for the Magpies. What a victory. Malik Thiaw almost scored from the kickoff. Straight from the kickoff, got a corner, Thiaw heads in, 1-0. Unbelievable. Lewis Miley made it 2-0 to Newcastle within half an hour, and Voltemada got his customary goal as well. 3-0 to Newcastle at half time for a side that had been absolutely awful away from home. This was a real surprise. I mean, Everton were not good. They were really ineffectual in attack. They didn't do a lot, and it was quickly 4-0 as well before the hour mark too. Thiaw getting another goal for Newcastle. Dewsbury Hall got another goal, making it 2-2 for him after getting that wonder goal against Manchester United, but really nothing to celebrate at all from the Toffees. No sweetness to report at all from the Toffees with this one, because this was an absolutely dismal defeat. Newcastle, they needed this. They want to get back into Europe this season, of course. They need to get wins away from home to be able to do that. So they're going to be hoping this is the start of a revival away from home. Their form at St James's Park on the whole has been pretty good, but away from home they've been terrible. This really does buck that trend though. Then we'll head to the even later kickoff, the 8 p.m. kickoff, Tottenham Hotspur against Fulham. And Tottenham's terrible home run continues. They still haven't won a game at home in the Premier League since the opening day of the season, which is nearly 4 months ago at this point. They were 2-0 down within 6 minutes. Tete and Wilson with a quick-fire double after 6 minutes. And then the game was over. The game was over because Tottenham, again at home, had nothing up front. Nothing. They had the cutting edge of a butter knife. They were shocking. Could have got a goal back on the hour mark pretty much. That's it. They had loads of shots, they had loads of possession, but they did nothing with it. All foreplay and no action. That's basically what Spurs were again at home. They just couldn't get the job done. They just sorry, that's a bit of a crude analogy, but you know what I'm talking about. There was just nothing there. There was absolutely nothing when it came down to perform. Nothing. But yeah, they'll hope to move on. Fulham, that relegation scare they had, I think it's pretty much over at this point. I think they'll be fine. They've got some good wins recently, so I think they'll be absolutely all right. West Ham United, though, I have no confidence they're going to be all right. Now, I said coming into this one, I said that Liverpool were going to get a win here. I went for 3-0. They got 2-0, and they were good value for it. They were really good. West Ham were absolutely useless. No shots on target at all. Paqueta getting sent off for just basically talking himself into getting sent off. 2 yellow cards. Maybe he had a 5 on himself to get sent off in this one. I don't know. But anyway, seriously, no. Isak getting his first goal for Liverpool after an hour. Brilliant for him. And Godi Gakpo, while they were chasing the game, West Ham trying to get an equaliser. 92nd minute, Liverpool finally put it to bed and they get a win. They get an away win. They needed this desperately. Jamie Carragher, I mean, you guys know I don't really agree with Jamie Carragher on much, but I do agree with him when he said that Liverpool needed to get 7 points at least out of these next 3 games, and it's a perfect record so far. We'll see how they get on next weekend, though, of course. And the big one, the big kahuna, this weekend's standout fixture, the Sunday evening kickoff. Chelsea against Arsenal, another London derby. This was first versus second before a ball was kicked this weekend. Of course, Man City went to second because they beat Leeds United on Sunday afternoon. And it was a draw. It was a draw. And now I am sure there'll be plenty of people, plenty of idiots in the comments and on social media saying, oh, Arsenal, they're bottling it again. This is the start of their collapse. No, I don't think so. This was, Chelsea were really good. Chelsea were really good in this one, particularly the fact that Moises Caicedo got sent off in the 38th minute. They played from the 38th minute with 10 men. They played an hour of football pretty much when you got, added on time added in there as well. An hour of football against Arsenal, who have been deadly. Arsenal, the team that beat Bayern Munich, the unbeatable Wunder team that they beat, not too long ago. And they managed to get a draw. They managed to get a point against Arsenal. Arsenal, it was not their best game, let's be honest here. They probably should have been able to get more chances and get more from this one. But given what they created, this was actually quite an even match. Arsenal having a lot of possession, admittedly, again, because they had 11 men versus 10. So, there is that. But 0-0 at half-time. Chalobah comes out for the second half, gets the opening goal for Chelsea. Mourinho, though, the man who, it shouldn't be a striker, but is a striker. He's doing such a good job there, getting another goal for Arsenal. So, yeah, I think overall this is obviously a better result for Arsenal. But in a sense as well, Chelsea getting a point against Arsenal, being down to 10 men for so long as well, I think they could take a lot of solace from that. I mean, I've said that Chelsea, they suffer because their team is very young, it's very inexperienced, and this is the kind of result that shows that maybe they're not that inexperienced. I mean, they do have some very successful players on there. Enzo Fernandez, a World Cup winner, of course. So, and they all have experience of winning competitions, the Club World Cup and the Conference League, albeit, people will laugh about the Conference League, but they still won it. So, yeah, it's one of them results where you think to yourself, Arsenal will be a bit disappointed they dropped points, but overall, they've still got a buffer at the top of the league. I think it's 5 points. Yes, it's 5 points now, ahead of Manchester City, 6 ahead of Chelsea, and Aston Villa. Aston Villa up in 4th place, so 24 points. They are flying at the moment. They got a victory as well this weekend, 1-0 against crisis club Wolverhampton Wanderers. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this weekend's games, guys. What were yours? Let me know in the comments below. What was the game of the weekend in the Premier League? Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this, guys. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today, and we'll see you very soon.